Wow, this is very exciting. It looks like you're here to learn for the very first time how to use the booking and scheduling calendar system for rolling video games. What is that? What is the booking scheduling calendar system? Well, this is a custom design system that is used only by owners and operators of rolling video games. The purpose is that so that your customers out there in the world that want to book a rolling video games can go online to our website, find you, and send in a booking request. That booking request comes to you, you receive it, and you respond. You can respond in a variety of different ways, but the most common way you would respond is, okay, we can do your booking. Here's an invoice to pay your booking. And the customer gets your response, pays their invoice, or confirms their booking. And that's it. That's really the simplicity of this. I'm going to take you through all of the steps of doing this, and I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I'm going to take it slow. You can always pause the video and try it out on your own. But really, that's all it is. The simplicity is it's just a vehicle for you to be able to take the bookings of your customers. They can pay online, and you can manage all of these bookings on a calendar and see where you're supposed to go and the addresses and so forth, all arranged for you. And that is the whole point of what we're about to learn. And don't be thrown off if your booking system looks a little different than this training, because we're always trying to update and improve the system. So it could be that you're looking at a training, recorded on this date, but maybe we've improved a little bit and it looks slightly different. But the theory of it all is still the same, and we probably might implement some new features by that time. Anyway, let's get started. So you're a new owner of a rolling video games, and you're excited about it, and you're tuning in to learn. Probably you'll receive an email from our office inviting you to confirm your registration on the booking system. It looks something like this. So you will have received an email from our office that looks something like this. You're a new owner or operator, so it says, "Hello, operator. You've been registered as an RVG operator here in Alaska with that zip code, and there's your email, and there's your password." And this all gets you started and prompting you to complete your profile. So by clicking this button, that's your first step. That's your first step in getting started. Complete your profile. And you click that button right there, and you're prompted to log in. You already know what your credentials are. I think if the password was on your email, and you log in. And the very first thing you're given is this little profile to fill out. It's suggesting rolling video games, Southeast Atlanta, and you can change it to whatever you want. You could change it to South Anchorage, or just name your region. It could be whatever you think fits your region when someone is looking to book with you. Dan Wood, phone number, whatever it is. And it asks for the website. I would keep it as rollingvideogames.com. We rank very high out there. This is how people find you. You'll want to keep it that way. You can put your own website there. That's why we allow you to change it. But if you're not really sure what to do, just keep it that way for the time being. You can come over here and update your password to a password that's more meaningful to you, and then click update your profile information, and it's updated. And right away when you update it, you're thrown right into the interface of your booking system. Right over here on the left, it says who you are, Rolling Video Games, South Anchorage. Now take a look at these items on the left. You're going to get familiar with all of these as we go through them. The calendar, which is what we're looking at here. Reservations, invoice items, tax rates, payment info, email templates. Don't be overwhelmed by any of this. We're going to go over it. But I do want you to know that you can't really use this system until you complete your setup. You have created your profile. You've completed your profile. But let's take a look at the email templates here. These are templates of emails that regularly go out to your customers that say certain things. And we've given you the power to change them. For example, let's start simple. Your signature is obviously not going to say Chris Hampton. You're going to change it to your name or whatever you want. Maybe you want to put your phone number, whatever you want to do. That's your signature. And when you do that, make sure you click Save Signature. Okay. Now let's go over here at the top, Invoice email. This is the email that your customer receives when you're sending out an invoice. Okay. And again, we're just doing the setup right now. We're just getting things all aligned up so that when we start using it, you're booking with Rolling Video Games of New England. That's not correct. You want to change it to what fits you. What was it? South Anchorage. And you just the way you want. If there's any weird stuff in here and you want to get rid of that, that's not supposed to be there. Don't touch these little things that have these double colons because it will populate that with the name of your customer. But all these other things are fair game. You get the gist of it. Please examine your invoice below, blah, blah, blah. But you might want to change it to something that's meaningful to you and adjust it because remember, this is what they're going to see when they get an invoice from you. So I'm going to hit Save Template just because I'm playing around with this a little bit. We'll skip over this for just a moment and we'll come back to deposit invoice. Payment received. This is the simple email that your customer receives saying, hey, we got your payment. Thank you for your payment to Rolling Video Games of, put your area, South Anchorage. And then thanks for your booking with, remember to not change these parameters because it's going to populate your unique information into it, your invoice number. A few important tips for your event. Well, you may have completely other pieces of information you want to tell your customer. This is just another customer that we have, another operator that has some text in there, and you might change it to the way you want, but it's basically the text that you want to accompany the message going to your customer saying, we received your payment. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to hit Save, and I'm going to come over here to a payment reminder. This is a really interesting email because this is not even something that you send out. If you have received a request and you've sent out an invoice to your customer saying, okay, we can do your party, here's your invoice. And if they haven't responded, this will automatically be sent out to them, if some time passes and there's several days that go by and they haven't sent you anything. It's just saying, hey, are you keeping the party? Hey, just a reminder that we have a booking request from you and you've not yet confirmed. You could change this. You could change it to whatever you want and hit Save, okay? Day prior to paid party. This is a nice little email that automatically goes out to your customer the day before the party. Again, you can change your information. See you tomorrow. Hey, we're going to be out there. We'll see you tomorrow. You might want to put something there that's special to you. We're warmed up and we're ready to go. We'll see you tomorrow. Of course, keep it general because this is what's going to go to every one of your customers the day before their event. Follow-up email is something that we send out automatically generated to your customers after the party. 2 or 3 days after the party, they're going to get this. Thank you. Thank you. Again, first name. You don't want to change that. For your business, blah, blah, blah. Hey, this is a great place to put, hey, put a review for us, or thank you for this, or thank you for that, or post here. Something that's, customized for you, you could put in there because it's going to go out to them a few days after their paid event. Now, remember, it could be anyone who has a paid event in there. Even if the event didn't happen and they paid, it's still going to go out to them because the program thinks that you went out to them because they were a paid event. Email signature, we already talked about that. Now, you're setting up your email templates. Let's also talk about setting up your payment info. You will be taking payment from your customers. How do you want to take payment? Authorize.net is a very powerful tool online that you can get an account and it will link to your bank account. And when people pay, it goes through Authorize.net and then the funds go directly to your bank. If you sign up for an Authorize.net account, you have to put in these 2 pieces of information: API login, transaction key. When you log into Authorize.net, you'll find a place where these little secret pieces of information are, and you'll paste it in. If you want something quick and simple, Stripe is very easy to use. Just go to stripe.com, sign up for an account, and instantly you are a credit card merchant. That means you accept credit cards. So if you get a Stripe account, you're going to put in these two pieces of information and save it. Be sure to indicate up here what type of payments you are accepting. Are you accepting with PayPal? Okay. Are you accepting with credit card? You can only do either Authorize.net or Stripe. So this takes a little time to set up, and you want to make sure you get it right. But for now, let's just say, for the purposes of learning, that we don't accept those items. We only accept PayPal. And I'm just going to put in some test information here. We're going to pretend like we got that from PayPal, and we'll hit update payment information, and it's updated. So we've done our job. We've put in our PayPal information. These are one-time setups, and you can always come back and change them, especially the email templates. You might want to come back and change something you don't like the way something reads. Tax rates. Are you charging sales tax? Well, that's something up to you. If you're going to be charging sales tax, you can program your tax rate. Is it 5%, 7.5? If none of these are correct, then you can add your own. You come up to add. Maybe yours is 4.375%. And you can also make it the default so that is the actual tax rate that everyone is charged. Create rate, and you've successfully set that up in the background here. Okay, so you've made your tax rate and you've made it the default. Again, just a one-time setup. You're probably not going to return to this screen again. Invoice items. What are the items that you will place in your invoice that you're going to be billing your customers for? Here's a good suggestion. Maybe you've decided that your 2-hour party on a Friday or Saturday night is going to be $400. Okay, that's great. And maybe you've decided you've come up with 5 or 6 other things you might charge them for. Maybe they're outside of your travel area, and if someone is booking far outside of your travel area, you're going to book them 30 minutes of travel time for $50. Or here's another invoice item. What if you charge an extra $50 if they decide to use your online gaming with your tier 1 internet inside the trailer? If you have internet inside your trailer, or any service you think is worthy of charging someone an extra, I mean, you could put here, popsicles, whatever you want. These are just the individual items that you'll be charging your customers that you'll place inside your invoice, which we're going to demonstrate here in just a minute. Now, as we start playing around with the different reservations and events, if you go to reservations, you'll be able to see them here. There's nothing here now because this is a new account, but you can search for them by the invoice ID or the event date. You can filter it any way that you want, maybe only the ones that have paid, etc. And they'll all be listed here under all your reservations. But let's go to the calendar. This is certainly what you're going to see the most. Right now it's empty. And as soon as people start making bookings with you, you're going to see all kinds of bookings, different colors here to indicate the status of that booking. So what are all these things that say notes, notes, notes? These are just little note takers for that particular day. Maybe on this day, your driver or your game coach is going to be your cousin Paul is the game coach. And you just want to make a note of that, and that way, when you're going through your calendar, you can see, oh, there's a note here. Let's see what that said. Well, what did I say on that day? Oh, cousin Paul. So you're just little ways of leaving notes for any particular day. That's all that is. So let's do a simulation. What do things look like from your customer's point of view? Your customer is simply going to rollingvideogames.com, and they might choose locations, or they might choose the button that says book one, and they're attempting to book a party. And when they do that, they're always brought here to pick a state, to be prompted. Let's just choose Alaska for our testing, and they do a search. Well, they see everybody that's in Alaska, the entire state, and we see some of these test ones that we've done. So there's Dan Wood. That customer might just choose to pick up the phone and call and ask them a question. That's your phone number. It also tells the customer where you're based, the zip code. They could even click on Google Maps, and it even indicates which pen is yours, who you are. And last but not least, they'll most likely click Book Now to book a party. So let's pretend like we are attempting to book a party with Dan Wood. We're a customer, and we want to book on. Let's see. This is on February. Let's say we want to book on February 26th, Friday, and we want the start time to be 6 p.m. and we want it to go to 8 p.m. I'm the customer. My name is Tori Smith. I'm going to enter in my address, 600 East 9th. I'm in Anchorage, Alaska. Same as Dan Wood, okay? What is my email address? Well, my email address is Tori Smith. Phone number is whatever it is. And this also gives the opportunity for the customer to leave any notes. How did you find out? What's the occasion? Oh, it's Tony's, 12th birthday or something. Some people don't leave anything here, but sometimes it helps. Maybe they'll say something like no violent games or and just something for you to pay attention to. But let's submit our booking request. We are Tori, we're the customer, sending our booking request to the operator, Dan Wood. Okay, so it went out. Let's see what Dan Wood got. Dan Wood got a booking request, an email. It's a booking request. Now, this is how you're alerted. You're alerted a few different ways, but one way is an email. Oh, look at this. Tori Smith is sending in a booking request. And if you go to your calendar, you'll see, let's refresh our calendar. You don't even have to check your email. You'll see right there on the calendar that there's Tori right there. And notice the color is black. That's the status. Let's click into it and take a look and see what it looks like. The status is black because it's a request. Now, there's 3 different statuses. You have your request, which means you haven't done anything. You just got it. You haven't sent an invoice in response. They certainly haven't paid. So it's black. When it's red, that means that you sent an invoice request and you're waiting to be paid. Okay, so if you see events all around your calendar and they're red, that means you acknowledged it, you received it, you sent off an invoice, you told them you could do it, and you're waiting for them to pay you. And if it's green, guess what that means? That means they've paid. So green means they've paid. I'm getting ahead of myself, but just to give you an idea, what could you do to this reservation right now? You can see all the pertinent information, 6 to 8, the name. We could do a few things. We could send an invoice. We could change something about the reservation. Maybe you want to edit and change the date. She changed her mind, and maybe she called you and said, oh, I asked for the 26th, but I really meant the 27th. You could come in here and just change it and make it the 27th. You could delete it. Maybe it was a mistake. But most commonly what you're going to do is send Tori an invoice. Okay? So what happens is as soon as you click an invoice, and by the way, that button exists in other areas of your interface, allowing you to send an invoice. But we know that Tori has sent in a request and she needs to be sent an invoice. So far, there's nothing here in the invoice. That's why it's all 0, nothing to send because you need to create it. It shows you the date that you're sending the invoice, the reservation ID, the invoice number. All these things are something you want to kind of keep an eye on. But right here's the important part, add item to invoice. Remember earlier when we were changing things and adding things, what we could add to the invoice? You just select from the pull-down menu, there's that 2-hour party. Remember that? 2-hour party on Friday, Saturday. You could go back and add more items in there, and you could add a 2-hour video game party with Game Coach on a weeknight and make it, $325 or whatever you like. But first you select it, and then you have to click Add Invoice Item to throw it down into the invoice. Don't forget to do that. If for any reason you need to change the quantity to more than 1, that they double up, then of course it will double up. So far, I can see that it's $400. And since we have the default tax rate, remember that we set that earlier? There's your different tax rates, but we set the 4.375 as our default tax rate. It's already adding tax and it's already ready to go. But let's pretend like we want to add something else to the invoice. Let's say, remember that item we added, the online gaming? Select that, and I'm going to add it into the invoice, and there it is. Okay. Again, if it's something that you want to double up, maybe it's popsicles or whatever you said you want to add there, quantity, we'll change the quantity. If you were to change it, it will change right here, and it will reflect all throughout your invoice. But let's change that back to 1, and let's come down here. What if this customer, Tori's a friend of yours, or maybe you're running a special and you want to give her a discount? Just come up here and put the percentage in. Is it a 10% discount? No problem. You can figure that in, and it will figure the discount in for you. All right, you're set to go. There's a button. You can't see it right here, but behind here it says to send it. You just hit that button to send your invoice, and that will go to Tori. Well, what if we are Tori? Let's pretend that we are Tori. Oh, by the way, remember we went to reservations, and you can see your reservations in list form. You can go to the calendar and you can see them here. What happened? What color did it change to? Red. Why is it red? We learned about that because it's been invoiced and now we're waiting for payment. We can come over here to reservations. We can see the status is that it's invoiced. We could even go in and look at it. If we could edit it if we wanted to, we could view the reservation. Okay? Let's just view it and take a look at it and remind ourselves what's going on. This is, I'm just going to grab this email address because I'm going to pretend like I'm Tori and checking and seeing. So I'm going to go over here and pretend that I am customer. And what did she get? First of all, let's look at one that she got a while back. Thank you for your booking. Remember when she sent in the booking request? It sends her a thank you for your booking so she can be reminded of what she sent in. But she also got from us, your booking with rolling video games is as follows. Remember that text that we were playing around with earlier that you can change when you send an invoice? That's this text right here. So you can change it. Hi, Tori. Thanks for your event request, blah, 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 all the things that you want to say. And then the invoice is attached. It has the price, the online gaming, all that stuff, your discount. There it is. And it confirms that we're coming to her address down here. She can just simply hit confirm. But if for any reason that she doesn't like it and she contacts you, replies to it, or she calls you and says, oh, I want to change the date, you certainly could do that and send her another invoice. But it's very easy to do that. You know, sometimes these customers are fickle and things change around and things happen in their lives and they want to change it. But let's say everything's going great. Confirm and hold your booking with payment. Well, that customer is being prompted to confirm. And because remember that we only chose PayPal, PayPal is the only way that you accept payment. Hopefully she has PayPal. Okay. I definitely recommend you having credit card here as well. And if we did accept the credit card, it would allow her to choose, click credit card and have her enter in all her credit card information. And that would show up as paid. So meanwhile, as Tori is in her home looking and taking a look at the invoice you sent her, maybe she has a change and she calls you or she responds to your email or for some reason you need to change it. You could certainly come up here and edit it and change anything you wanted about it if you wanted to. If for some reason that she pays, then what will happen is it will automatically turn green. And you will get an email alert saying that Tori has paid for her party and she'll get a receipt. But what for some reason you want to mark it as paid? I don't know. Maybe she stopped by your house and paid you in cash or something and you want to mark it as paid. That's something you have the power to do. Let's mark it. Are you sure? The reason it's asking, are you sure, is because all those things I just mentioned are going to happen. She's going to get a message saying, thank you, Tori, you paid. Everything's going to change in the system, indicating if you're not sure, don't change it. But if you are sure, and we have the money, or a check, or whatever it is, the way you accept your payment with your business, And look what happened. It changed to green. Okay, so we come in here and we know that it's changed to green. It's paid. That's fantastic. I mean, you've got now this, you've seen this reservation go through the three different statuses, black being new, um, uh, red being invoiced, and green being that it's paid. You really do see the life of a reservation request, and hopefully you start seeing all kinds of parties, coming here and populating your calendar. This booking system was set up originally so that everyone pays for their party in advance. So if a customer called you and said, I want to book next month, do I have to pay it all in full? And usually we would say, yes, you do, because it's like a hotel room. You're paying for it. You're locking in that space of a time that someone else might take. But just for the people that really want to be able to offer their customers the option of paying a deposit, we've built that into the system. Although I'll just say personally that I don't recommend it. I would rather you run your business so that all of your customers have to pay in advance. It keeps it clean. It's simple. People pay in advance. You don't have to keep up with deposits and balances. But nevertheless, just letting you know that it's available in the system. So let's take a look at. I went ahead and sent another booking from Tori Smith, and she booked it in March for 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And if you went and sent an invoice to her and you said, we did everything the way we did before, and we said, okay, we'll do a party for you. We'll add this. We can see what the total here is. And the total is 417. But if we put here deposit paid, meaning really deposit to be paid, and we allowed her a 50% deposit, you can see right there, it chopped it in half down to 208, and you can send Tori an invoice for 50%. It might make it a little easier for her. It might make you a little more able to book more parties, and that's fine. You've got that option. So now let's go and check out what Tori may have received. Invoice reservation. Now take a look. This is a little bit different. You can see that it shows that her party really is 400, but we've been kind enough to bill her a 50% invoice, okay? And same thing, she clicks confirm, she pays with the same method of payment as with before, a credit card or PayPal, whatever method of payment. But let's go ahead and simulate that she's paid that. We'll come over here and you'll notice when you view your reservation, you've got the option here. It says mark deposit paid. And it reminds you that you've not sent out an invoice for the full amount. It's a deposit. So if she does pay it with her credit card or PayPal or what have you, or you decide to mark it, same thing. Are you sure? Yes. Whatever method of payment that the customer chooses, whether you've marked it paid or they paid by credit card or PayPal, you'll see when they've paid, it looks a little bit different. This means that it's been paid in full. This is a little warning for you that it's just a deposit that's been paid. And if you want to collect your balance at the party or after the party or just before the party, that's really up to the way you run your business. But you've got this button over here that says send balance invoice. And when you do that, it sends another invoice to Tori. So let's take a look at what Tori received. And she's gotten another one here for the second half. And there she can pay with the same method of payment that she did before. And let's go over here and simulate again. Since we know, let's refresh our screen. And we've invoiced it. And we can view it and come up here. Mark is paid just as before. And then see deposit paid, it's yellow. We know that half has been paid. So you could be sitting at the party and market is paid right there. Are you sure? Yes. And everything else will look exactly as before. So clearly you can see here that you've got the ability to bill in full, they pay in full, but you also have the ability to send a 50% or a deposit, and then you can bill them for the balance. So this is available to you if you choose. Now, if that is your policy, you can so choose to accept deposits for your parties. Now, we've pretty much gone over all the basic usages of the booking reservation system for rolling video games, but there's a few other things that you probably are going to be able to figure out on your own. You can go through the different months right here. Obviously, up here, if you would like to see it by the week or by the day, or you want to see all your reservations in list form, they're all listed like that. If you happen to delete an event, it actually doesn't even delete. It goes into the archive section. So if you don't see it appearing here and you've deleted it and maybe someone did it by accident, come over here to the archive and you'll be able to see everything that's been archived. Nothing's really lost in terms of an event or a party booking. It just goes to the archive section. And I think we pretty much covered almost everything. There probably are a few other things we've not talked about, but I think for the most part, this really does cover how to use the booking calendar system. Now, you can't see it right here because it might be covered up. You see that little green thing down here? If for some reason you are having issues with the booking reservation system, or you have a question, or something's not working right, just put your name and email and your message right here, hit submit. We have a programmer that's online to assist in these situations, and they will respond to you, answer your question. It's probably best to do it that way, because if you call our office, it's just going to go through us, and we're just going to ask you to do this anyway, because we wanted to go directly to the programmers that develop and maintain this system. And I think I want to throw a few tips at you that will make you kind of a power user here, that will help out. What if you just didn't want to send people to the Rolling Video Games website, make them choose their state, make them choose you among all the other people? You want a direct link directly to your booking page, which can be helpful if you want to embed it in maybe Facebook, and you can create a Book Now button, or on your website. So it just goes direct to you, skips everything else. Go up, when you're logged in, go up to the profile up here at the top right, and click that little man, and you'll see profile. And you see here where it says general URL. When you touch it, it will copy it. If you touch the link, it will actually go to it and show you what it looks like. It looks something like this. It's just the page. It's just the page itself. There's no no funny business, no pick a state, all that. This is this actual operator's page. So that's the link. So you just go to that link. You can copy it here, and then you can embed it. All right. So on to the next tip. Remember earlier when you had to put in your payment information? I just want to throw a few tips out there, because since this is a one-time thing, once you set this up, and it can be a little tricky. It's not our fault. It's Stripe. If you're going to get the credentials from Stripe or the credentials from Authorize.net, they're very picky about how they give it to you. They're trying to keep it secure. There's a couple little steps you have to go through. So just be patient when you're trying to enter this information. But I'm going to try to help you and guide you a little bit. Hopefully they don't change their process after we make this tutorial. But let's say you want to. All right, you see the API login and the transaction key here. When you log into Authorize.net, you're going to look for something that indicates, hey, where do I find the API and transaction key? When you go there, the login will be very easy to get, but sometimes the transaction key is a little bit hidden, and you have to hit a button to produce it. Okay, so just remember, one of these will be easy to copy, and the other one you have to produce, and you hit a button and you copy it in there. With Stripe, it's very similar. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through it with Stripe. I know Authorize.net is the same way, and I think this will help you out. So I'm going to log into a Stripe account. I'm already logged in, so I'm going to go to the dashboard. And it can be a little confusing because sometimes you see right away this API keys and all this. Just ignore that. Come over to Developers, API Keys. See over here on the left? And look, I need to get rid of these secret keys. So you won't have these. When you first log in, you won't see secret key, but you will need to go up here and hit create a secret key and give it a name like my pool key or something, just something, little name you want to give it. When you hit create, it's going to give you this string right here, and that's the string. You want to copy it. See, it says it's already copied to the clipboard, but go ahead and paste it somewhere else so you have it. This is that thing that can change. If you ever are having trouble getting linked up with Stripe, this sometimes you have to create a fresh one, and you need to use the fresh one and get rid of the old ones. See, I would have gotten rid of, you can hit this over here to delete this key, and I would use this key, and that is the information that I would paste over here into the secret key. The publishable key, you saw, it was pretty easy. It was right there. I would do that, copy that. You see what I mean? And the same is very similar to, authorize.net. It's a little tricky. You have to, one of them's hidden and one of them's obvious, and you have to produce one. And the same is similar, guys, with PayPal. I'm not going to walk you through it because PayPal changes a lot, but it's very similar. Work your way to developers. We'll say something like developers, and you're looking for, in their case, let's go to PayPal info. You're looking for your client ID and your secret ID. Same thing. Client ID will be very easy to paste in. And then your secret ID, they might make you jump through a couple of hoops, like create something or produce it. Okay, so I'm just saying be patient when you get to this part. And by the way, you have to put all this in, folks, before you try to invoice someone. Because if you try to send someone an invoice and you don't have at least one of these, loaded in and checked and ready to go, they'll get their invoice, but they won't have a button at the bottom that says confirm and pay, because there is no way for them to pay. Do you understand? So you want to get this taken care of right away. This is going to be one of the first things you want to take care of. I hope this is helpful. And here's another thing I want to tell you. We purposely put in an invoice item that says this is a test item. This is a perfect way to test your payment processing. And it's for $1, okay? Why? Because when you first get this and you're kind of getting warmed up, it's a good idea to test the entire system. In other words, pretend you're a customer booking yourself. Go in there and fill out a booking form for yourself. It will come to you. And just as you learned in this tutorial, you'll send them an invoice. But just send it for $1. That way you're not charging yourself $400 to test on your credit card. So you send an invoice for $1. And obviously you're doing all this after you've set up all your payment info, right? Like we just learned. So this is to ensure a few things. One is that you've correctly hooked up your payment info, that your payment, maybe you have a problem with your payment your account anyway. Did you properly open up your Stripe account? Did you properly open up a PayPal account? Remember, there's a PayPal seller account and there's a PayPal buyer. You want to make sure you're a PayPal seller. And same thing with authorize.net. So I'm not trying to overwhelm you. I'm just letting you know that there's a little bit of a curve here. You want to make sure you set up your processor. And once you think you've got it all set up the way we've discussed, give yourself a test. You pretend like you're a customer. You fill out the invoice. You're invoicing yourself $1, and then go in and pretend like you're the customer and pay that $1 really with your credit card or your PayPal to make sure it's all working, guys. It could be something that's really no fault of us or no fault of the online app, but it could be your processor's having an issue, or maybe your account's not right, and you want to get all that fixed up. Have some patience with that. And when you go through the entire cycle, you can even see your emails. How every correspondence with your customer is accompanied usually with an email that says some text. You don't want to use the default text that we have in there, guys. That's just to help you kind of give you an idea what's here. You want to put, hey, this is Bob Smith in Indiana, and your own information there. Same thing when you're sending an invoice or all the thank yous and everything. You want to change all that. That's why I strongly recommend before you go invoicing anyone that you run through the entire process, actually paying with your credit card, actually seeing everything. And that way you feel confident that everything's working okay. And don't forget, there's a little button over here on the bottom corner that you click on. That's over here now. Sometimes it's over here, but if you have a question, click this, and they're happy to help you. Send the issue that you're having, and they can help you with that issue and get you squared away, get you moving. We've pretty much covered everything I could think that we need to go over, and I welcome you aboard, and I look forward to seeing your calendars filled with lots of events and lots of money in your bank accounts and lots of happiness in your heart. So stay safe and enjoy your rolling video games.